Before I start, I need to say this clearly. If you use a baby monitor, if you've ever checked it in the middle of the night, you might want to turn this video off now. Because what I heard through mine wasn't just my baby. When my daughter Eliza was born, I bought the most expensive baby monitor I could afford. 2 cameras, night vision, audio sensitive enough to hear breathing. My husband worked night shifts, so most nights it was just me. The quiet. On the 3rd night after bringing Eliza home, I heard her cry through the monitor. It wasn't loud, just a soft whimper. I ran upstairs immediately, but when I reached the crib, she was asleep, peaceful, not a tear, not even a twitch. I told myself it was interference. That was my first mistake. Later that night, the monitor crackled again. This time, the crying didn't stop. I looked at the screen. Eliza was still asleep, but the sound kept going. And then, a woman's voice whispered through the speaker. "Why did you take her room?" I couldn't move. The camera showed nothing unusual, just the crib, moonlight, the rocking chair in the corner. I checked every room in the house. Nothing. The next night, I saw movement on the monitor. The rocking chair was slowly rocking back and forth. I hadn't touched it. Then the audio turned on again. But it wasn't just one baby crying anymore. There were 2. One was Eliza's. The other sounded older, strained, like something forcing air through lungs that didn't work anymore. Then the woman spoke again, clearer this time. She cries because she remembers. I ran upstairs screaming. The room was normal. No movement. No second sound. But when I picked Eliza up, she opened her eyes, and she looked past me, toward the corner of the room, and she smiled. The next morning, I searched the house records. A woman named Maribel Crow once lived here. Her infant daughter died in that same room. Cause of death? Suffocation during sleep. That night, I unplugged the baby monitor completely. I didn't want to hear it again. At 3:17 a.m., the monitor turned on by itself. The screen lit up. It showed the crib, and standing beside it was a woman. She was rocking an empty pair of arms, whispering, "Shh, mine is sleeping now." Eliza started crying in my arms, and from the monitor speaker, another baby cried back from the crib. But the crib was empty. I don't use baby monitors anymore, because sometimes they don't just listen, they let things listen back. I want to warn you before this story starts. If you've ever watched your baby sleep through a monitor, if you've ever replayed old footage just to feel safe, please understand this. Some things aren't meant to be watched twice. My son Noah was 6 months old when this happened. We lived in a small apartment, thin walls, old wiring, the kind of place where electronics glitch all the time. So when the baby monitors started acting strange, I didn't panic at first. The first thing I noticed was the timestamps. At night, I checked the footage from earlier, and the times didn't match. A clip marked 2:43 a.m. would show daylight. Another marked 1:10 a.m. would show complete darkness. I assumed it was a software bug, until I saw myself on the screen. The footage was from the nursery camera. It showed me standing over Noah's crib, staring down at him, not rocking him, not adjusting the blanket, just standing there, completely still. The timestamp said 4:12 a.m., but I knew for a fact I was asleep at that time. I checked the date. The recording was labeled 3 days in the future. That night, I didn't sleep. At exactly 4:12 a.m., I sat awake in the living room, staring at the monitor. The screen showed Noah sleeping peacefully. Then, the camera angle shifted slightly. as if something had nudged it. The door to the nursery opened, and I watched myself walk in. Every movement matched the recording perfectly. The way I paused in the doorway, the way my head tilted. But in the footage, my face wasn't visible. It was blurred, like the camera refused to show it. The version of me in the recording leaned closer to the crib, and then the audio spiked. Not a cry, a whisper in my voice. If I don't do it now, it won't stop crying. Noah stirred in the crib. I panicked and ran down the hallway. But when I reached the nursery, I was alone. No future version of me. No movement. Just Noah, sleeping. The next morning, the footage was gone. Deleted. Except for one new clip. Time-stamped tonight. I didn't watch it. I threw the baby monitor in the trash that afternoon. That night, at 4:12 a.m., Noah started crying, screaming harder than I'd ever heard. I froze in bed, because for the first time, I didn't trust myself to go in there. The crying stopped after a minute. The next morning, Noah was fine, smiling, laughing. But on my phone, in my deleted files, was a single video. No timestamp, no camera source, just audio. My voice whispering softly. See, you did the right thing this time. Doctors say you can't always hear when a baby stops breathing. They say that's why baby monitors exist. But after what happened to us, I don't believe monitors are meant to protect anything. I think they're meant to notice. My son Caleb was born premature. Because of that, we bought a baby monitor with a medical alert feature. Heart rate tracking, breathing sensors, oxygen warnings. The monitor had one strange setting, a feature called assisted audio. The manual said it would provide vocal feedback during emergencies. I assumed it meant alarms. I was wrong. The first time it happened was at 2:06 a.m. The monitor made a soft clicking noise. Then a calm male voice spoke through the speaker. Breathing irregular. I bolted upright. Before I could even reach the nursery, Caleb let out a loud cry. The voice stopped. The monitor went silent. The pediatrician said it was probably a delayed alert paired with audio prompts. That explanation worked. Until the next night. At 1:43 a.m., the voice returned. Breathing slowing. I sprinted down the hall. Caleb was asleep, but pale. His chest barely moved. I shook him gently. He gasped and started breathing again. And from the monitor behind me, the voice whispered, "Good response." That wasn't an alarm. That was feedback. The third night, I didn't wait for the voice. I stared at the monitor screen. Caleb slept. Then his breathing slowed. The monitor stayed silent. 10 seconds passed. 20. Then the voice said something new. "Let's observe." My stomach dropped. I grabbed Caleb immediately. As soon as his breathing stabilized, the voice spoke again. "Intervention successful." I unplugged the monitor. The voice continued. From the speaker. Not the unit. From the room itself. Caregiver response time, improving. I called the manufacturer the next day. They told me something that made my hands shake. That model had no voice feature. Only alarms. No phrases. No feedback. No assisted audio. That night, I left the monitor unplugged. At 3:11 a.m., I woke up to clapping. Slow. Soft. From the nursery. A familiar voice said, "Training complete." Caleb started breathing normally on his own. For the first time since birth. We moved out a week later. Caleb is healthy now. Perfect, actually. Too perfect. Sometimes I wake up and find him staring at the ceiling. Not crying. Not moving. Just listening. And when I lean close, he smiles. Like he hears something I don't anymore.